We are recording.
Oh, cool. That means we're going to be talking. If we're recording, that means we're only talking about one thing, and that would be sports. See, y'all motherfuckers thought I was going to say MMA, didn't you? And didn't. Yeah. But we are leading with that.
We are starting with MMA. We are starting with that. And guess what? George, the one thing that you've regretted more than anything in the whole wide fucking world. Fight Pass.
Fat girls with Twinkies?
No. Oh. Fight Pass.
I haven't regretted it. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, everything that's been on Fight Pass, there's not one thing where I go, I wish I had that free trial to see that. And that goes for, this weekend might be the closest to me pulling the trigger because you're going to get Luke Rockhold versus Bisping over in Australia.
Hold on, I'm off the thing, but keep going.
Okay, so anyway, on that fight card, you're going to get Bisping versus Rockhold. So for all you Fight Pass fans, tune in, enjoy. I'm trying to think. You also, it looks like Ross Pearson's on that card. Really? Ross? Yeah, Ross Pearson's on the card as well.
It's like an earthquake up in my house, huh?
And you also get Clint Hester for anyone who's watched the house in the last couple, years. But it looks like you got the prelim, the main card. You got 7 fights on the undercard, 4 fights on the main card. So you get 11 fights for, I don't know. Like I said, this could be the closest I would come to pull the trigger on my free 7-day trial.
Right.
But I didn't. So I won't see it. And but I will be tuned in to watch. I'm sorry?
And neither will I.
Right, because we're going to be too busy watching the other card that's going on the same day, actually the day after.
It is, and I'm checking that shit out. Now, this one is in Brazil. The one from the Fight Pass card is in Australia. This one is in Brazil.
Which is going to be on Friday night. And then the Fox Sports 1 card with Shogun versus OSP headlining in Brazil will be on Saturday.
Right.
Now, and that bitch don't start till 10:30, so that means I will be reading about this.
Yes, and this is the thing. George and I we repeat ourselves a lot, don't we?
Yeah, but no one listens, so it doesn't matter.
So we're allowed to repeat ourselves.
In for the first time.
This fight, guys, is in Brazil. So because this fight is in Brazil, first of all, not that George and I have ever been experts at pronouncing any names during the course of this 8-year run of this fucking show.
Not even close.
Not even close. We cannot pronounce the names. Furthermore, we do not know half of these Brazilian fighters.
But if Kevin had the card up in front of him, he would realize that it's not overrun with Brazilian fighters like we've seen in the past. And some of these guys' names we can say.
Okay, you want to pronounce? How about you pronouncing them all then?
On the undercard. Some. Whoa, Chauncey, you need listen. I said some, and I leave all that enunciation shit up to you.
Okay.
So I can enunciate the one fight I'm interested in, and that's McCall versus Lineker.
That because
that's trust me, this shit's getting DVR'd so I can watch it because I think that fight's gonna be nasty. And then can't fuck with their names. Leon Edwards is fighting.
There's a welterweight fight between Warley Alves and Alan Juban.
Yes.
Then there's another welterweight fight between Claudio Silva and Leon Edwards.
Leon Rocky Edwards.
Now I'm going to make a note of this, George. Claudio Silva and Leon Edwards both do not have wiki pages. So by default, we will not talk about them. Because we don't know shit about them. And I know somebody on there is going to be like, you guys should go over to Sherdog. Fuck Sherdog. We're not doing it.
And let's be serious. I mean, this is on short notice. You got 2 fights in 2 nights. But to round out our UFC coverage, we're not going to spend a whole lot more time about this. There's not the only fight, in my opinion, that has any real implications in any weight class is going to be the Ian McCall fight and John Lineker. I mean, this could catapult Ian McCall right into a title shot.
Right.
Could. I'm not saying it would. I'm saying it could.
Yeah. The light heavyweight, bout between Mauricio Shogun Hua and
9 versus 10.
OSP. They're really not. I mean, I hate to say it, and you said it already. They're not really relevant in that class right now. They're just they've fallen too far back. There is another event coming up that.
Yep. The Hamburglar. Actually, no, that's someone else's name. Oh, by the way, he's been cleared. He's been cleared of that whole rape thing or abuse thing with his girl.
George is talking about Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Hamburglar.
Yes. What's going on here? Okay, here we go. So Anthony Rumble Johnson, which I'm excited about because his second stint in UFC has been pretty impressive. I mean, he's been about business.
He looked hungry.
Yeah. Now
and he's been fighting like it. He's like the Black Donald Cerrone.
Yes, he's trying to get paid, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
What?
One of the greatest sports quotes in history we're all going to get to see because Randy University is the next 30 for 30. Straight cash, homie. One of the greatest. Next to Allen Iverson talking about practice. When Randy Moss is sitting there, straight hood in the parking lot, talking about straight cash, homie. That's how I pay him. I lost it, dude.
That's some good shit. When is that 30-30 debut?
Coming up. I just watched the one with Brian Bosworth, dude. Those things are amazing.
They do a good fucking job on that.
I want to buy the 30-30 just for maybe if I have one child, unlike your 6, I can explain to them sports history using the 30 for 30s.
Yeah, because they do a good job, man.
Yeah, they're thorough.
They were very thorough.
But anyway,
kind of like you are pronouncing Brazilian names.
Saturday, November 15th,
yes.
Which is, I can say I am more excited to spend Kevin's money on this one than the last one because of...
You guys hear that shit, right?
Yeah, well, you got the interim heavyweight title fight, which is Mark Hunt and Fabrício Werdum, which is awesome. Yeah. But underneath them, you get Jake Ellenberger versus Kelvin Gastelum.
Mm-hmm. Let me pronounce the shit before you hack it up worse than it is, Shorty.
Hey,
Kelvin Gastelum. And you know what? There's going to be about 50 people who are like, that's not right.
Well, I mean, I guess it's
Kelvin, man. Put the L in that shit. Damn. You know the L word. You know. Why are you staring at me like your shit's frozen? People going to think we're frozen on Skype.
That was the whole point.
Right.
Got your neck.
Fight, psyche boo boo. Anyway, yeah.
I'll be interested to see if he can take one of Jake Ellenberger's punches. Because Kelvin's got a fucking brick head, but Jake throws atomic bombs.
Kelvin, the thing about this guy Kelvin is he is so well rounded, man. I think when he was back in the house and his debut in the UFC, no one expected his debut in the UFC outside of the house. No one expected him to do the things that he did. I don't think anybody expected him to win. I don't think anybody expected him to do so well once he started fighting this guy.
What, that motherfucker better know how to duck or bob and weave or some shit, or he will be flat on his back staring at the lights.
You think so?
Yeah, and he'll be in Mexico City asking for some churros and a donkey to get home.
I tell you what, man, no one has been able to do it so far.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
Who was the last person Kelvin fought who had bricks like Jake?
Huh?
Ellenberger's gonna fucking...
I mean... He decision Rick Story, the Nico must,
69% of the time, Jake wins by KO or TKO.
But this is the thing. This guy, has a great ground game. Suppose he takes him to the ground, and he's got a great ground and pound. He's strong. He's good on the ground.
Then he better land that single or double without taking any shots, because the worst thing in the world, if he goes in for a single and he's face down on the mat and Jake Ellenberger's got his left hand on the back of his neck and he's pummeling him with the right hand.
So with that, you're taking Ellenberger?
All day.
I'm taking Gastelum all day.
Yep, that's why you're paying already.
You guys, you remember you guys heard it right there. Now, there's other fights on this. Obviously, there's a women's bantamweight fight. How interested are you in that? But Jessica I is going to be taking on Leslie Smith, and they both do have wiki pages.
I'm about as interested in that fight as I am about grabbing some 30 grit and jerking off with it.
30 grit is not too good on the cock when you're jerking off with it. Yes, that's it.
Women's MMA does absolutely nothing for me. If there is something that could, there's just nothing.
I will say this: the last fight the Cat Zingano was in, I loved it. I like that. When she fought Miesha Tate. There's been some interesting bouts. So obviously Ronda Rousey's bout. I know, I'm making up names. Ronda Rousey's, that's how long it's been since we talked about her. Ronda Rousey's bouts are interesting, but they're so short.
Right. I think, dude, she's had longer fights on the silver screen than she has in the UFC.
This is true. This is true. The other interesting fight, we've got Edgar Garcia going up against Héctor Urbina, and then we've got Ricardo Lamas going up against Dennis the Menace Bermudez in a featherweight fight. Big because
the UFC has Lamas at 4 and Bermudez at 7.
Right.
So the one thing I don't like about this fight is
what don't you like?
Well, one guy, Lamas is 14-3 with the 50% decision rate.
Okay.
Bermudez is 15-3 with a 47% decision rate. So there's a better than 50% chance that we're looking at a decision.
Yeah. And that shit can make you go to sleep, especially when you got 2 fights left coming after that shit.
Right, and you just ate most of a pizza.
I was just sure. Great minds think alike, because I was just ready to say, especially after you just fucking chowed down half a pizza and you were like this.
Oh, yeah, I was rotten, dog. Fucking
What?
sauce under the fingernail.
Knocked out. Huh?
So anyway, for all you UFC fans, you got a big weekend. I mean, probably by the time you see this, it'll be post-dated. It'll be Sunday, and you'll be hearing us talk about shit that's already happened, and you want to know why. But anyway, blame that on our editor.
Double deuces. But yeah, I think I'm going to be able to get this one out pretty fast. So anyway, let's